Welcome back. Okay, we're talking about machine learning control, and in particular, we're talking about how to use genetic algorithms to tune the parameters of a control law with a known or specified structure. So here what we're going to do is apply the genetic algorithm to tune a PID controller in MATLAB. So here's just a quick recap of the diagram. So I have some PID controller that I'm going to wrap around my system to obtain some desired objective function. I am representing the parameters of this PID controller, the proportional, integral, and derivative terms, as this kind of genetic sequence of numbers. And I'm going to try to find the parameters, these parameters that optimize some objective function, basically finding these hotspots where you get the best performance. So we're going to have to define an objective function. We're going to have to construct a kind of control law with this specified structure. And then we're going to use the MATLAB GA command, the genetic algorithm, to tune these parameters using this evolutionary strategy. Okay, so that's what we're doing right now. I want to caution you, in real life, you don't want to use a genetic algorithm to tune your PID controller. There's lots of other easier, better ways to tune this that would be less expensive and simpler. But this is a demonstration of how you use the MATLAB GA command for some kind of a control optimization. So this is an easy one where there's 3 parameters we want to optimize. You could then take that exact code and apply that to your control system where you have parameters that you want to optimize that's not a PID controller. Okay, so I don't want you to think that this is only useful or particularly useful for a PID controller. You can do this for anything where you know the basic structure and you're just trying to optimize the parameters. So people have done this tons using genetic algorithms to optimize the parameters of a structured control law. Okay? So we're actually going to do this in MATLAB. We're going to cook this up in MATLAB. And so what I'm going to do is a few things. I'm going to define a system. So I have to define some kind of transfer function. I'm going to do this in the frequency domain, so I'm going to define a transfer function. I also have to define some kind of an objective function. This is kind of my J function. It's a little hard to read, but this is my J function. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to wrap this GA command around this. Okay, so that's what I'm going to do. So here's a script. You can download this. The code will be online. This is in our book, the book Data-Driven Science and Engineering. Okay, so I clear all, close all CLC. I define a time step. I define some basic parameters of my genetic algorithm. So I'm going to iterate for 10 generations. And each generation is going to have a population size of 25 individuals. Okay, so I'm going to have 25 individuals, and I'm going to iterate and advance that for 10 generations. So I want to define my system that I'm going to be optimizing my PID around. And I'm going to start with just a transfer function. S is a transfer function S, so this establishes my Laplace variable S in the frequency domain. And my system is G equals 1 over S times S times S plus S plus 1. Don't ask me why I chose this one. It probably has some interesting properties. So I have G equals 1 over S times S squared plus S plus 1. Okay, that's my transfer function that I'm going to use. 1 over S times S squared plus S plus 1. That's G. And now I have to define some objective function J. So what I decided to do is kind of this interesting hybrid approach. So I'm going to define my cost function J, my objective function, to be the LQR, the linear quadratic regulator cost function. And I'm going to then find a PID control law that minimizes that LQR cost. Okay, so it's this kind of weird hybrid deal. So here's the transfer function. This is my dynamical system. It's just some input-output system that has these dynamics. And I have this function called PID test. And what PID test does is it takes in the dynamics G, the time step dt, and a vector k of my control law, proportional integral derivative. And it basically tests that control law on that dynamical system with this cost function that I'm going to define. So let me show you what PID test.m is. So in PID test, essentially, again, this function takes in the dynamic transfer function g, a delta t, and the parameters of my PID controller. And so basically it takes the first entry of the parameters, and that's my proportional term. The second entry of my parameters is my integral term. So it's essentially this parameter is k proportional, k integral, k derivative, kd. And so what I do is I take the first element, and it's proportional, so there's nothing multiplying it. I take the second element, and it's times 1 over s, which is the transfer function for an integrator. And the third term is, kd times s. That's the transfer function for a derivative. Now, in MATLAB, it won't let me build a transfer function and run this control loop with an actual derivative, because that would be kind of unstable. So what I do is I divide it by 1 plus something really, really, really small times s, so that at very, very, very high frequencies, this derivative term rolls off to 0 and becomes unimportant. Okay? So this is basically a derivative, kd times s, and then normalized by this really, really, really high frequency roll off. So this is basically just actually a high pass filter with a very high frequency. Okay? So that's what I'm doing here in this PID test. I take these parameters and I build a PID control law. This last term here is just a little funky because derivatives are weird in MATLAB. And then what I do is I build my open loop. I take my system G and my controller K, and I build a series. I have my system G, I have my controller K, and I build a transfer function from the left to the right. And then what I do is I feedback on this loop like that. Okay, so I build this feedback. This is just nice 2 lines in MATLAB. I build a series, then a feedback. And then what I do is I step the system, my closed loop system, and I see what the step response is. I want a nice fast rise time. So when I step the system, I want to go from 0 to 1 as fast as possible with as little overshoot and ringing as possible. Okay? And to quantify that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use an LQR cost function. Okay, so this is my control transfer function. I'm basically also simulating, I want to know what the control input was. When I give this step, I want to know what my control signal does, because I'm going to penalize really big control inputs U. And so I build this cost function J, which basically adds up how long it takes my state to get to the set point. So basically the error of my tracking squared times Q, plus how expensive it was, U squared times R. That's just the MATLAB way of doing this. I take my vector of outputs and my vector of U's, and I dot square them and sum them up. So that basically adds them up over time. Okay, long story short, what I'm doing is I have this system. I want to wrap a feedback controller, a PID controller around it, and I want to tune the proportional, integral, and derivative terms to minimize this LQR cost function. So I want really good state tracking. I want to track this step as fast as possible with as little error as possible. And I also want to do it with as little control input U as possible. Okay? And then I have some plotting commands here. Again, you can download all of this and play around with it yourself. But basically, I want to actually see what the step response looks like so we can plot on the screen for all of these tests. Okay, so almost everything up until this point has just been setting up the problem. I set up the transfer function, the input-output dynamics that I'm going to control. I set up this function PID test that actually tests a PID controller and sees if it was a high J or a low J. I want small j cost functions. Those are good controllers. And then the GA command is super simple. I run GA, and I basically tell it what parameter I'm optimizing over. So I take PID test, and I wrap it so that it is only a function of k, these 3 control parameters, and I lock in g and delta t. So now the genetic algorithm knows that all I'm doing is I'm running PID test, and I'm trying to tweak these k parameters to get the best output of PID test possible. And then there's some other commands here, some other options that you can do the GA help and see what to do. I think basically this is telling it that there's 3 variables it's optimizing over. It gives it some initial condition and things like that. Okay, so you can look into this yourself. I also have an option for an output function called myFunction, which basically at every iteration, at every time you evaluate an individual and every time the generation advances, I essentially save some internal variables so that I can plot them later. So I'm plotting what are the 3 control parameters, what's the system response, what's the cost function j, and things like that. And eventually this gets dumped into a file called history.mat, so I can load that, and after the fact, after I've run this genetic algorithm, I can plot a bunch of things and diagnose how it learned the right control law. Okay, so I kind of just want to recap. There's a system I want to control. There is a function that evaluates a controller and tells me, was it good, low j, or was it bad, high j? And all I do is I plug that into the GA algorithm. I tell it what to optimize, this k parameter, and it goes. And I have to tell it, how many individuals per generation and how many generations, and I run it. Okay, so I'm going to hit go, and what this is going to do is you're going to see a bunch of step responses plotted to the screen. And down here, you're going to see the cost function for each of those. And we're just going to run through all of these 10 generations, 25 individuals each. So we're going to see 250 control laws, step responses. And what we want, when we do the step response in time, what we want, this is our set point. We're trying to step up here. I want this thing to go up as fast as possible and stay close to the set point. What I don't want is huge oscillations that take a long time. This would be a big state deviation. That should give me a bad cost function. And what would be even worse, this is an unstable system, so if I pick a bad PID controller, what would be even worse is if this goes unstable. Okay, so that would be a huge cost function integrated over 10 time units. Okay, so that's what we're going to see is these kind of different canonical step responses for different PID control values, and then genetic algorithms is going to optimize. Okay. Let's try it out. I think we're ready to go. Let's hope there's no errors. I'm going to run this code. Okay, so very quickly, we should be seeing a bunch of step responses pop up. So these are the step responses. These are the cost functions down here. You see a lot of them were unstable, kind of blow up, but some of them are okay. And even after one generation, you see many more of them are going to the set value of 1 and not blowing up. You still have some unstable ones. But now these cost functions are already getting a lot smaller. Now they're around 1.1 or 2, and only rarely do they get really big. So this, from generation to generation, these control laws are getting better and better and better, and finding better and better PID control gains. And so we're just going to watch this evolve for a little bit. Now you see it's like kind of just jiggling around these really good solutions. Those are the good ones, and it's just mutating and crossing over, trying to get slightly more optimal solutions. And we found kind of this, 1.4 seems like a pretty good minimum value. It's not doing a lot lower than that. Okay, it's done. So super fast to evaluate. If it's fast to evaluate a control law, you can run through hundreds or thousands of these things and really find good optimizing parameters. Okay, let's see what X and F val. What's X? Okay, X is the optimizing. So this will spit out the single best K, the single best PID gains, those are these. And the best optimizing function value, this is my cost function J. So F val, the lowest it ever found was 1.476 for these proportional, integral, and derivative terms. So if I want, I could just run PID test of G with delta T and this best PID control gains X, these 3 values here. And this is the best response, apparently, according to the LQR cost function, according to minimizing the state deviation and the control cost. This is the best response that genetic algorithm found. Okay? Now, I don't know if this is a particularly good one or bad one. You can definitely squash down this peak, but it'll take longer to rise, and apparently that costs more according to my cost function. So this is only optimal with respect to the cost function that you select, and maybe this was a bad cost function. So that's very important, is that these algorithms are no smarter than how you set the problem up. So if you want different performance, then you need to put that into your cost function. So if I wanted to squash this peak down, maybe I should put a penalty on a maximum peak. One of the cool things about genetic algorithms, the LQR cost function is this quadratic smooth cost function, and it was chosen that way because there are known optimal closed form solutions. But with genetic algorithms, this can actually find solutions to non-convex problems. So I could put in hard constraints on you. You can never be bigger than a value. I could put in inequality constraints, or I can basically penalize kind of the maximum value that this hits. Any number of things that would be very hard and non-convex traditionally you can do in genetic algorithms. Okay, so this is the best control law that was found. Pretty easy to run. Most of the effort and most of the time was actually just setting up the problem and the cost function. Running the genetic algorithm was super fast and simple. Okay, so in the next video, we're going to load that history.mat file and actually start to see what this genetic algorithm did under the hood. Okay, thank you.